What's going on, everybody? Listen, I just wanted to make a quick little video. This kind of just happened, and it was kind of spur of the moment, but I was talking to my brother, and he's not the only one that has had similar difficulties with this, and I know I definitely struggle with this when I first started. So what I want to do is I just want to talk to you a little bit about possibilities, what's possible, what people don't tell you is possible, coming from a small town with very narrow-minded individuals, or and it's not their fault. There's some things that people don't talk about, and there's some things that as soon as you start asking some questions and you start getting answers, you realize there's this whole other world that's opened up to you that you had no idea about. So let me just give you an example. So I had an old iPhone just laying around, and my brother didn't have one, right? So he had like I don't know, some sort of Android, old, cheap, shitty Android. And so what I wanted to do was, somebody's sleeping there. What I wanted to do was give him this phone. I said, you know what, dude, like, he's struggling a little bit and whatever. So I said, here, take this phone. I'm not using it, at least you'll be able to use it on Wi-Fi if you can't get service or whatever. And I've been there before too, where you can't afford service, or you can't afford to confirm through text messaging when you're downloading all these apps and whatever, right? Like there's some real things that people don't talk to you about when you're really, really poor or broke, or you don't know what's going on. And I still have some of these issues to this day, right? So what I wanted to do is just kind of discuss this a little bit. It's dark in here, huh? And what I noticed was, when I got him this phone, or when I sent him the phone in the mail, right? He gets it, he starts activating it, starts downloading all this stuff, and all of a sudden, like, all these apps start talking to each other. His email and his contacts are all updated, his photos are updated. Everything just like syncs up, right? Just no-brainer, right? That he had this hard problem like transferring contacts between softwares and whatever before. Next thing you know, and this I'm taking this for granted. Like I've had phones and new phones for a while that automatically sync up with things, So but I just kind of forgot. So next thing you know, everything syncs up, and he's like, dude, I didn't know what happened. Like I logged into this thing, and everything just like synced up. It was like a little magical, you know what I mean? And I said, oh dude, that's kind of crazy. I forgot about that kind of stuff, right? Then we're talking, and he's like, honestly, because he logged into Danna University, I made him a custom course and whatever, kind of like helping any questions that he has when it comes to like online stuff or whatever. I've made some people custom courses on just modern technology, like modern banking, modern just catching up to 2019, right? So, and that's what he did. Like, this phone is allowing him to now catch up to 2019, and he started realizing, he just had like a light bulb moment. He was like, dude, I didn't realize how far behind I was, or whatever. And I'm not trying to throw him under the bus here, but this was the conversation I just had with him. And all of a sudden, it was like this whole thing just opened up. And I started thinking, oh man, I can't tell you how many times in my life when it was like one little thing that kind of opened up the world of opportunities for me. And there's some people that I've been talking to that are having a hard time getting a full-time job, or they want a full-time job, or they don't want a full-time job, but they don't know what to do in exchange for the full-time job. And so that I've also taken for granted, and I didn't know that was an issue, because I just kind of like, I've always done this thing where, if I know how to do something and I can help, that's awesome. But if I know how to do something and I can help and make some money out of it, that's cool too. And I've always just kind of offered a hand, whether it was helping somebody move, cutting somebody's grass, shoveling my neighbor's driveway, whatever. At a certain point, you start getting paid for this kind of stuff, right? Like, the more often you do it, somebody feels bad and they give you money, right? That wasn't the whole point. But once you started catching on to, oh, you could actually provide services for people, there was this thing where, I went to Bay Path high school, which was a trade school, and I took cabinet and millwork, so I have carpentry under my belt. But before that, I was helping my buddy with contracting with his dad's company, and I would just, like, you know, help nail things in, like assisting, you know. And before that, it was always like helping my dad repair something on the car, or just always helping and providing a hand, like a helping hand, right? But at a certain point, if you provide a helping hand enough, you can actually start getting paid, okay? And that's kind of, I've just always done that, right? So before I moved out to Oregon, what did I do? I just contacted, like I just went through my list of friends, and this, I promise you, this kind of just happened second nature to me, right? This was like, it's now ingrained because I used to do it so often. I still do it. Like I'm going to be doing it next week, right? When the book's done, I'm going straight back to, okay, who can I help marketing? And then I'm going to be making money. So there's things like, you know, if you need some extra cash, you can start asking your friends or family, start there, right? Friends, family around, who needs a hand and what do they need help with, right? Do they need help painting? Do they need help cutting the grass? All this other stuff you can do in addition to a full-time job if you don't have that cash flow. You know, if your income from the full-time job isn't enough, or if you're not good with your money or expenses or whatever, then this is something else you can do to raise the amount of income. You can generate some income doing that, right? But not a lot of people remember that. Not a lot of people understand, because it's too easy. It's so dumb. It's so dumb easy, stupid easy to like completely forget that people around you need a hand and you can actually charge them, right? And then you start thinking, now I'm looking back and I'm thinking, okay, there was one person that really needed me to repair something, right? It was like hanging a shelf. If you like think about the things you know how to do. Do you know how to hang shelves? Do you know how to hang curtains? Do you know how to paint somebody's wall? Do you know how to tape it so it's not bleeding through into the next wall? You know, do you know how to like, are you an artist? Like, can you just take a paintbrush and start painting somebody's wall or fence, or can you shovel or add some mulch? Like, can you get a little dirty for the cash, right? For now, like the end game is to work less, right? And to work not as hard or not as labor intensive. Sorry, I got loud ass trucks here. So that's the end game, right? But for now, what can you do for some extra cash? Right? Can you sell some stuff around your apartment? Can you do that kind of thing? Or your house or whatever? Can you look at somebody else's garage, sell some stuff in their garage and split the profits with them? Like, do you know how to use Craigslist? Do you know how to use eBay? You know, like look at other people's homes. There's homes everywhere with so much stuff that needs to be sold. If you can just sell some of that, split the profits with them. You're doing all the work for posting the ads. If you have a phone, you can take you can take photos of it and stuff. It's really easy. So, but when you're stuck, and this is what I forgot, pardon the trash trucks going around here. This is what I forgot, right? When you're stuck, you can't think like that. Like you're only concerned about money, or you're only concerned about what everybody else thinks. You're only concerned about everyone saying, you need to get a job, you need to get a job. And what nobody told me was, you didn't need to get a job. Like, nobody told me you don't need to get a job. Okay, I just kind of found out on my own because I kept quitting every job I had because I hated it. So, but nobody told me that. Nobody said, it's okay. Nobody's telling me what I told you right now, okay? So I had to figure all this out myself. And at a certain point, I had enough people. Every month, somebody would want me to, the same person would want me to, like, you know, maybe help paint, maybe help hang a shelf one month. And, you know, you charge by the hour at first. You start saying, okay, well, it's 20 bucks an hour. Once you start getting a little, you know, confident or cocky, we're gonna say confident in your skill, then you might have to do a couple things for free, right? Just to gain that experience. But once you have that experience, then you can start charging by the hour. So you can say 20, 30 bucks an hour, whatever. And I know that's like, oh my God, crazy, 20 bucks. Like, I don't even have 20 bucks in my bank account, but you could go make 20 bucks working for an hour, hanging somebody's shelf, right? If you know how to use a screw gun, they probably have all the tools at their house, right? You got to think of like this. This is how much can you do in exchange for some cash, and who can you make some money off of if you're really down and out, okay? And at a certain point, you'll have enough people where you could actually replace your income from your full-time job. Like, you don't make a lot at your full-time job, okay? I know most of you watching this video don't make a lot at your full-time job. So this is good in addition to your full-time job as well. You can start going around thinking like, okay, go through your contacts today, right? Go through your contacts right now and see who needs help. Who can you help? You know, you might not think they need help, and the things they need help with are so stupid easy. You could charge like 15 bucks, 20 bucks to help them, and it's going to mean the world to them, but for you, it's like, really? Was that it? Does somebody need help with a stone wall? Does somebody need help sweeping or mopping or washing floors or, you know, screwing a toilet seat on? Like, I've done all this stuff for cash, man. I've done all of this stuff for cash when I was down and out. Like, before I started talking about this, but before I moved from Oregon to Massachusetts, I had to figure out a way to make some money for gas, right? So what I did is I started renting out my camera, right? I had a friend of mine that wanted a camera. My camera was better than his. This isn't really relatable, but I started renting out my camera, and every month he would come in and he would just rent my camera from me. Instead of buying his own, he didn't have to worry about the cost of the camera, the expenses of the lenses and the upgrades and the softwares and whatever. He could just rent my camera every time he had a shoot. So that was consistent. Then I had somebody that wanted, you know, family friend, they wanted me to screw on a toilet seat. They wanted me to hang some curtains, bookshelf, a TV stand, you know, like a TV hanger on a wall with some brackets. They wanted me to install that. They wanted so much stuff done, and at a certain point I could just charge whatever I wanted. It was like, oh, a couple bucks an hour. And once you know how much you know, they'll know how much you understand and can do, and they'll just ask to see if you know how to do something else, right? You won't even realize that you know how to do it until they say, hey, I don't know if you're interested, but would you mind helping me, like, you know, build this little wall here made of 2x4s, which is just wood, screws, and a screw gun. Like, yeah, sure, I'll help you. And is it me doing it alone? Do I have help or whatever? And you start playing with these ideas, and you can start kind of just charging to help people. Instead of helping for free, it's good to help for free. However, when you're down and out and you're struggling because the only thing on your mind is making more cash, then you've got to make more cash. It's okay to be a little bit selfish from time to time, okay? Like, in this world, the word selfish is frowned upon, and it's okay to be a little bit selfish. Like, you have to be a little bit selfish. Like right now, I'm not working on a single thing for anybody except for this video. Hopefully this helps you guys. Except for this video, I'm not working on a single thing for the next probably 3 or 4 days, okay? Because I'm being selfish. I got to finish the audiobook. Like, that's going to help me. It's going to help the people around me. I've got to finish my audiobook. The book's done, but the audiobook needs work. So that's what I'm doing. I'm being selfish. This is for me, right? You got to be a little bit selfish. Who can you charge? Who needs help with something? Go through your list of contacts right now and it'd be like, oh, Tony, let me see what he's doing, right? Or let me see what she's doing. You probably know somebody that owns a business. You might be able to do some paperwork. You might be able to add some data entry services to your resume, whatever. At a certain point, you may find that you really, really enjoy one of the things that you've been asked to do for somebody. You might be able to create your own business, right? And that might be your first business. You might only do that for a year and then quit. You might get bored and you'd be like, well, let me try something else, right? That's okay too. The important thing is there are options. There are so many opportunities out there where you actually don't need a full-time job. Plus, you could also do everything I'm telling you alongside your full-time job and then hit your financial goals way faster than you could have imagined, right? Let me give you an example of this, okay? So, in New York, this is going for filmmaking, okay? In New York, I had a camera, and in New York, I had, I didn't even have a microphone yet. I started with a camera, okay? Then I had a reflector. So I started taking headshots for people. I started saying, oh, let me make some money off of my friends. Okay, now that was like, let me make some money off of my friends. So what did I do? I started offering headshots to actors because all my friends were actors. Boom, like a no-brainer. Hey, first ones I had to do for free because I had no idea what I was doing, right? But I knew that these actors were paying $1,600 for a headshot session, and I was like, well, shit, if I could learn what to do for $1,600 for a headshot session, I'll be making $1,600 for a headshot session, right? So I just started doing that. After a while, I didn't enjoy it anymore, so I started doing something else. I was like, okay, cool, I made some money from it. You know, I started booking clients. Their clients would refer me. Actors would refer other actors, and I only made money from people that I knew or from people that recommended me, okay? So that business was cool. And then I said, I'm just not making enough money. Let me add some more services. So what I started doing with the same camera that I spent money on one time, I started recording videos, monologues for actors, okay? And then the actors would tell their friends that Isaac records monologues, and they could use them as demo reels to send to casting directors, and they could send that in as a submission versus like the really crappy script that they were auditioning for, right? So it was shot well. Then I had to learn how to, and then if they wanted, if the person needed something that I was interested in and I didn't know how to do it, I would just go out and learn how to do it. And that is probably the number one thing that has helped me survive, okay? Learning what I didn't know, asking questions when I was confused, or, you know, when something didn't make sense, I just wanted to go out and figure it out. Now, that is something you really, really need. You need to be able to learn and adapt and kind of cater. If you are looking to provide services for people, you have to cater to what their needs are. They're not gonna need what you think, okay? Like, I'm trying to provide like coaching for people. I'm trying to provide life coaching and stuff. I was like, oh, they need like this mental, you know, I've got so many courses on DannaUniversity.com that, you know, I was assuming that somebody would need something, right? But now I'm jumping on and off of these phone calls, and I'm actually so much further ahead than I thought that I can't even create a good product or a service right now, because really, I have to go and talk to the people that I want to provide a service to and see what they want, right? Because if I'm just imagining they need something and I'm gonna create a price around the imaginary service that I'm gonna provide and solving an imaginary problem that I think they have, I'm never gonna get any clients. However, if I'm making a video like this for people that are asking me, you know, hey, you know, like somebody contacted me the other day and said, hey, I'm really stressed out, and what do you do on your days that are down, right? Like, what do you do for like to stay positive and whatnot? And I was like, in all honesty, like the majority of the days that are bad for me are based off of money, right? All my bad days have some sort of lack of money. For no other reason than that. Those are my bad days. And if you can relate to this, then this whole video is worth watching. You know what I mean? If you can relate to having a bad day based off of not being able to afford your groceries, or not being able to afford your cell phone bill, or whatever it is, you can't just sit there and complain about it. You know, you've got to like make a difference. You've got to, but here's the other thing. It's also not really your fault and it kind of is at the same time. It's catch-22 here. It's not your fault because nobody told you that you can actually just legally freelance for a living, okay? And, you know, you can do taxes and stuff later on in the year, all from working from yourself. Like, you could just consider yourself a handyman or a handy woman, and all of a sudden you have your first business as a freelancer, okay? If you have any interest in website design, you can play with that. You can just copy and paste templates from Wix and just provide website services for people. If you don't know what Wix is, go learn. But the biggest thing for me was the internet, because the internet, the interweb, has every answer you could possibly want 24/7, every hour of the day, okay? Instagram, Facebook, all of these platforms have people looking for something, okay? I've gotten work from Instagram, I've gotten work from Facebook, just reaching out to people, sending them a video saying, just like this, being like, hey, hope you have a great day. Only if you're comfortable on camera, but hey, hope you have a great day. I just wanted to see what you needed help with. Is there anything you need help with? Blah, 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 blah. And at a certain point, you find out what they really need help with, and then you can figure out a price based off of how hard that work is gonna be, a fair price for both of you. You negotiate. Next thing you know, you're making money, man. Like, don't overthink this. What can you do today to make a couple extra bucks, okay? That is the point of this video. I know it's a little long now, but the point of this video is don't overthink this. It's so much easier than you think. And for me, the point of this video, I'm learning as I'm talking, don't overthink this. It's so much easier than I think. Like, I'm trying to design this massive, elaborate course. Meanwhile, there's people stuck at square one that can't wrap their head around the concept of you don't need a full-time job. And if you have a full-time job and you're still not making money, then you can do some of the stuff I've mentioned in this video. Like, that to me just kind of came naturally to me, I guess, from years of hating working for other people and building other people's dreams and companies. And, you know, now I'm like, okay, if I'm helping you build your company, you're helping me build my company, because that's the only way I'm doing business. So, but you've got to, if you don't have this little trait of chasing something, if you don't have this little trait of learning, if you don't enjoy learning, or if you're not like sure about it, or if you don't understand, you got to start asking questions. You know, that is your responsibility. You have to start learning things. If everything you've done up until this moment hasn't worked and you're not where you want to be, then you've got to start learning new things. Start reading, start watching videos, start taking courses, and you're going to start, you're just all of a sudden, you're going to have like a year of just light bulb after light bulb after light bulb, realizing, oh my God, I can do this. So for me, right, I was so fed up one night, I'm crying on my bed, literally just bawling my eyes out on my bed. I just went through some breakups. I was in the process of quitting a couple jobs, and it was just a nightmare, man. And I said, I just looked up on, I was like, the one thing that was bothering me, again, I had a bad day based off of money, and this was probably 2014, maybe 2015. And I was like, I went to Instagram. I don't really use Instagram anymore, but I went to Instagram and I said, hashtag money. I looked up hashtag money. Then I found some ridiculous course on how to make some money from home and all this other stuff, right? So I found this ridiculous course, and one thing after another, I didn't understand anything in the course. So I watched the course again. I start learning, and things start registering a little bit. Like, every so often I'd start picking up on a certain tactic or something they were talking about or whatever. And then I started realizing, oh damn, it is possible to do exactly what I want. It's possible to make money from my bedroom. It's possible to not have a full-time job. It's possible. This is possible. Like, and once that kind of just clicked, then there was no turning back, man. There was absolutely no turning back. And I said, oh, this is crazy. So then I started investing in myself, started using money from the businesses I was working for, and I stopped working for the business. I was working at the business for myself, if that makes sense. And that's very, 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 very important. If you have a full-time job and you're not happy there and you want to do your own thing, right? Doesn't matter what it is. If you want a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, if you want your own website, if you want to sell crafts, arts, whatever, you need some sort of income, right? This is what I'm trying to tell you here. You got to generate some sort of income for your passion until your passion outpays the full-time wage, okay? It's just got to happen that way. I quit my job way too soon, and these are the lessons that I've learned along the way. Like, I quit because I couldn't stand it anymore. I was at jobs that I just could not stand, man. And it sucked because the bosses were nice and stuff, but I just hated working for other people. And I was like, you know what? Now, every day I wake up and work for myself, period. Doesn't matter. I've even been down and out, okay, within the past year or so. You know, on the move, I had to come over to the West Coast, and I was getting bored. So I said, you know what? And I came over to the West Coast, and I still needed some money, right? So I started applying for jobs. So even though I told myself, I promised myself I'd never work for anybody again, I started applying for jobs because that was my only other option at that time. I started thinking like, shit, I need money. Then there was this path that was in front of me, and the only thing that worked out, I applied for Domino's, I applied for Pizza Hut, I applied at a hotel, I applied at exhibit trade show companies, which I have years of experience working in, and they all turned me down. I didn't get any of these jobs, dude. Like, I didn't get a job at Pizza Hut, okay? So that was the kind of a sign to me, like, all right, dude, you know, do what you do best. go out and provide a service for somebody. Like, you told yourself you weren't going to work for anybody, so figure out how to do that. And that's what I had to do. I had to figure out how to not work for anybody. So I start calling all these consulting companies, agencies, ad agencies, and one consultant picks up and he's like, hey, yeah, I'll have coffee with you. I was like, cool. So we have coffee, and then he starts giving me softwares, and all these other softwares are helping me make money. And even that, he was like, hey, you could sell for me. And I was like, nope, not selling for you. I'm going to kind of take the software and just sell for myself. You know what I mean? So that, even that, like, he was helping me, and I still said, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do it for myself, you know? And that's probably the most important thing. So that being said, I'm out of breath. I've been walking for a while now, 25 minutes here. That being said, you have to know what you want, and then price it out, how to get there, and you have to start thinking about what you can do for that extra cash that is going to make you be able to get there, okay? And in addition to this, I know I shared this in a video the other day, but this is my new vehicle. It was an accident. I was driving my old Ford, and it wouldn't turn anymore. It would die on turns. And now I have this little bad boy. And the only reason I have this little bad boy is because I'm working for myself, okay? It's a monthly payment. I didn't buy it outright. It's a monthly payment, a couple $100. And but I had to have that initial down payment, you know, which is $1,000. So I had to put that down. This doesn't just happen, okay? This isn't just like, you know, this wasn't somebody else's money. Well, this is kind of somebody else's money. I'm providing services for companies, you know, so I'm basically using other companies' money to get what I want by providing services and solving problems for them. Now, you don't have to do the same thing I'm doing. You don't have to be a consultant, but I've been solving problems since I've quit my job, and that's the only way I've been making money. I've been helping, providing services, and solving problems. And that's the only way I've been able to survive outside of the rat race. And I can control how much money I make day to day, and I can control my time, my schedule. I can control when I don't work, when I want to work, and so on and so forth. And it is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And entrepreneurship and online has just showed me what is possible. So I hope this video showed you what's possible, what's not possible, and everything's possible. Everything's possible. So just go from there, and I will talk to you on the next video.